In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove and replace an Upstream O2 sensor in a Fiat 500C located in the front manifold. Disconnect your negative battery terminal on the battery, 10mm socket or wrench. We're going to loosen this nut right here. You don't have to take it all the way off. Loosen it up enough so that you can spin it right off. Set it aside. I'm just going to take the upper engine cover off. It's just a cleaner vision to see the airbox. Just lift up, pull, and that way you can just pop it off these plastic pins. Now you can see the airbox cover. 1, 2, 3, 8mm or a 5/16 wrench or socket, and we'll remove those. So I'm going to use a deep socket, 8mm. And on the last one, I'm going to use a shallow 8mm. Now with those out of the way, you can pull on this plastic. Just lift it up, and then you can just hold this plastic in place and twist it off. So now we can see that Upstream O2 sensor. It screws right into the side of this exhaust manifold, right in the front here. So you're going to follow that cable over, and it goes right in front of the battery tray, right below the mounting bolt. And it's got a yellow clip on it. So you're going to need to take a flat screwdriver. I like to use a pocket screwdriver. And I'll put my hand underneath the upper radiator hose, and I'll hold this firmly. And I'll just take a screwdriver, and I'll take that yellow safety lock pin, push it back, just like that. And then push down on that and release it. So that tab just needs to be pushed down on. And there we go. And then disconnect it. Now I'm going to follow this harness. You can see right here it has a little hook it's stuck in. I don't know if you can see that. Just take the harness and run it right around that clip. Pull it right out. Now with a O2 sensor socket or a 22mm, you want that cut out. That's why we use the special sockets, so you can fit it right around that housing. And then you're going to turn it counterclockwise to break it free. Once it's broken free, it usually comes out pretty easy. Then you just reach down there and you can back it right out. On O2 sensors, if they don't come with it, you always want to put a dab of high temp anti-seize on there. Just a little bit on the threads. Make sure you don't get it on the sensor. And now we can thread that in the manifold. Of course, by hand, you're going to kind of wiggle it a little bit and let it center itself. Then you can start it, threading it by hand. Now if you take a good visual before you do this, make sure the threads in that manifold are good, not cross-threaded or any burrs on it. If it didn't come out as easy as mine did, you want to check that and clean those threads. Just going to turn it till it bottoms, then I'll snug it up and torque it to factory specs. There we go. Let's get our torque wrench. So with that O2 sensor socket and a torque wrench, it is torqued to 33 foot-pounds. So now with that O2 sensor harness in the bracket, I slid it right back in. You can see how it goes in, and then the harness goes through this little loop. Let's get that worked up in there. There we go. Now we're going to grab that connector, line it up. There we go. Now we're going to push that till we hear it click. There we go. and I'll take that yellow lock and slide that on. You'll hear that click too. I used a hook, or you can use a long screwdriver, but I managed to slide that lock pin in, and that's really important. You don't want that to come undone. So you get a constant reading and it runs proper. So now we can put our air box back in, and what you're going to do is line up these 5 little plastic sliding pins and line them up. But first I recommend putting the snorkel on, because that goes on pretty difficult once it's in. So put the bottom side on first and then just push on the top, just like that. Now you can light up those little 5 fingers on the bottom. You'll feel it fall into place, and pull it forward. The screw's already bottomed out over here. I'll just get them to catch a little bit by hand. I'll get my 8mm socket and we'll snug those all up. You want to make sure that there's no air going past that filter and it's seated properly. So now we can put our cover back on, engine cover, and you're going to line up these rubber push pins with those plastic pins right over the oil filler cap and the dipstick tube, and you push down. That's that. Now we can reconnect our negative battery cable. Make sure it is flush to the battery, around the bottom. You don't want it sitting high on the top. 10mm socket or wrench. Once you feel that bottom, I'm going to turn it about a quarter of a turn. Make sure the cable doesn't move, and you're all set. When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.